Picture this: a quiet morning in late autumn, the kind where the air bites just enough to remind you winter's creeping in. And I'm standing at my kitchen window, a chipped ceramic mug of coffee in hand, watching a single amber leaf spiral down to the dew-soaked grass. It's a moment so small, so unremarkable, that most would let it slip by unnoticed. But for some reason, it sticks with me, like a photograph I didn't mean to take. I'm Megan, 32 years old, living what you'd probably call a perfectly ordinary life in a suburban neighborhood just outside the city. Rows of tidy houses, manicured lawns, the hum of a lawnmower somewhere down the street. It's the kind of place where nothing much happens. Or at least, that's what I thought until recently. I've got long chestnut hair that I usually tie back in a messy bun, green eyes that catch the light in a way I've never quite understood, and a tall, slender frame that's carried me through life without much fuss. People have always told me I'm photogenic, that I've got a face for the camera, but I've never paid it much mind. I'm not the type to chase the spotlight. If anything, I'm more comfortable in the shadows, editing manuscripts as a freelance editor, shaping other people's stories while keeping my own tucked safely out of view. Then there's Kyle, my husband of 6 years, who's the exact opposite of me in all the ways that matter. He's 35, a graphic designer with a mind that's always buzzing with color and shape and possibility. He's got this infectious enthusiasm for art, for beauty in all its forms, and when he talks about it, his eyes light up like he's seeing the world for the first time. Kyle's charming in that effortless way some people just are, supportive to a fault, always dreaming up ways to make life a little brighter, a little bolder. He's the kind of person who nudges you out of your comfort zone with a grin and a gentle push. And somehow, you don't even mind. For years now, he's been obsessed with this idea that I could be a photo model. "Megan, you've got that look," he'd say, leaning across the dinner table with this earnest intensity, like he's trying to solve a puzzle I didn't even know existed. "There's something about you. Mysterious, captivating. I can't put my finger on it, but it's there." I'd laugh it off, roll my eyes, tell him he's seeing things that aren't there. Me, a model? The idea felt as foreign as stepping onto a stage in front of 1,000 strangers. I'm the behind-the-scenes type, not the one who gets framed in the shot. But Kyle, he's persistent in the sweetest way, always planting these little seeds of possibility, watering them with compliments and encouragement until they started to take root. Despite myself, our relationship, it's a good one. So here I am, the morning of the big day, standing in front of my bedroom mirror with a knot in my stomach that feels like it's tied itself into 1,000 tiny bows. I'm trying on the outfits Kyle picked out for me last week, a collection he spent hours curating with this meticulous care that only he could muster. There's an elegant navy dress with a flowing skirt that skims just above my knees, something I could see myself wearing to a fancy dinner if I ever went to one. Then there's a bolder piece, a crimson top with a plunging neckline paired with sleek black pants that hug every curve. I'd never wear something like that in public. Not in a million years. It's like putting on a costume for a role I don't even know how to play. I tug at the fabric, catching my reflection in the mirror, and I barely recognize the woman staring back at me. My green eyes look wider, almost startled, and my hands tremble just a little as I smooth down the material. What am I even doing? This isn't me. I'm the one who hides behind oversized sweaters and jeans, not the one who struts around in outfits that scream for attention. Kyle walks in just as I'm wrestling with the zipper on the navy dress, and he stops in the doorway, a soft smile spreading across his face. He's wearing that worn-in gray t-shirt I love, the one that always smells faintly of his cologne, and his hair's a little messy from running his hands through it while sketching ideas for today. "Hey, you look incredible," he says, stepping closer, his voice warm and steady. He reaches out to help with the zipper, his fingers brushing against my back, and I feel a little of the tension ease out of me. "You're gonna be a natural, Meg. I can feel it." His eyes are sparkling with that familiar excitement, the kind that makes you believe in impossible things, And for a moment, I let myself lean into his confidence. I turned to face him, managing a small smile, and he cups my cheek, his thumb tracing a gentle line. "I'm so proud of you for doing this," he adds, and I can tell he means every word. It's enough to make my heart ache in the best way, even if the nerves are still buzzing under my skin. We pile into the car not long after, the outfits carefully folded in a garment bag in the back seat, and head toward the studio. It's in the artsy part of town, where the streets are narrower, lined with quirky coffee shops and murals splashed across brick walls. I watch the city blur by through the passenger window, my fingers fidgeting with the strap of my purse, while Kyle hums along to some indie track on the radio. The studio itself is tucked away down a side alley, almost hidden from view, with a faded sign above the door that reads, "Adrian's Lens," in peeling black letters. From the outside, it's unassuming. Just a nondescript brick building with a heavy steel door that creaks when it opens. Inside, though, it's a different world. The studio is all sharp angles and cool tones, with exposed concrete walls and high ceilings that make every sound echo just a little too much. There's a massive backdrop screen in one corner, stark white, and an array of lights on tall stands casting harsh beams across the space. I feel like I've stepped onto a stage I'm not prepared for, the air thick with the faint smell of dust and metal. Adrian's already there, waiting for us. A tall man in his late 40s with a sharp jawline and piercing gray eyes that seem to see right through you. He's dressed in all black, his movements precise as he adjusts a lens on his camera, barely looking up as we walk in. His presence is commanding, almost cold, and I feel my nerves spike again as Kyle introduces us with that easy charm of his. Adrian just nods, his gaze flicking over me for a moment before he gestures toward a small changing area. "Let's get started," he says, his voice low and clipped, like he's already done this 1,000 times. I slip into the navy dress first, the fabric cool against my skin, and step out in front of the backdrop, my bare feet cold against the concrete floor. The lights are blinding at first, and I squint, feeling like a deer caught in headlights. Adrian's behind the camera, his face half hidden by the equipment, and he starts giving me directions in that same detached tone. "Tilt your head to the left. No, just a little. Good. Now shift your weight onto your right hip. Look into the lens. Intensity, Megan. Give me intensity." I try to follow, but it feels awkward, like I'm a puppet with tangled strings. My arms don't know where to go. My smile feels forced, and every movement seems wrong. Still, I push through, focusing on his voice as a lifeline, even if it's unnerving how little he says between shots. The silence is heavy, broken only by the sharp click of the camera shutter, the sound of my own shallow breathing, and the faint rustle of the dress as I move. Every tiny noise feels amplified, like it's bouncing off the walls and straight into my head, making me hyper-aware of every inch of myself. Then, there's a moment that shifts everything. Adrian lowers the camera and steps out from behind it, walking toward me with a purposeful stride. I freeze as he reaches out, his fingers brushing a stray strand of hair that's fallen across my face. His touch is light, almost clinical, but it lingers just a second too long, trailing down the side of my neck and brushing my shoulder before he pulls back. My heart slams against my ribs and I flinch, the sensation burning into my skin. He doesn't say a word, just steps back to his spot behind the camera as if nothing happened, his expression unreadable. I'm left standing there, my mind racing, a storm of conflicting feelings churning inside me. Part of me is screaming to step away, to call this off, to tell Kyle I can't do this. But there's another part, quieter but undeniable, that feels this strange electric pull I can't name, a current running through me that I don't want to acknowledge. I swallow hard, trying to focus on the next pose, but my hands are trembling now, and I can't shake the ghost of his touch. The tension only builds when Adrian suggests I change into the next outfit. I slip into the backless black dress from the collection Kyle picked, the fabric clinging to me in a way that makes me feel more exposed than I've ever been. I step back out, my back to the camera as instructed, the cool air of the studio prickling against my bare skin. I can feel Adrian's gaze even though I can't see him, and it makes my stomach twist in a way that's both uncomfortable and oddly thrilling. I pose as he directs, arching my back slightly, turning my head just so, but every second feels like an eternity. Then, out of nowhere, I sense him close behind me. Too close. His breath grazes against the nape of my neck, sending an involuntary shiver down my spine. I'm frozen, caught between the urge to turn around and the fear of what I might see in his eyes. But before I can react, he steps back, his voice cutting through the charged silence with the same cool precision as before. Perfect. Hold that pose. The camera clicks again, and I'm left reeling, my heart pounding so loud I'm sure it must echo through the studio. That's when my gaze drifts beyond the blinding lights, toward the observation window on the far wall, a pane of glass I hadn't paid much attention to until now. And there he is, Kyle, standing behind the glass, watching everything unfold with a smile that stops me cold. My breath catches in my throat, and the world tilts just a little. He's not supposed to be there. He said he'd wait outside, give me space to do this on my own. But there he is, arms crossed, that smile of his both familiar and foreign, like I'm seeing a side of him I've never known. I'm still under the spotlight, the black dress clinging to me like a second skin, and Adrian's voice pulls me back with another direction. Turn your head slightly, Megan. Eyes on me. His tone is as steady as ever, like he hasn't noticed a thing, like my entire world hasn't just shifted on its axis. I obey mechanically, tilting my chin as he instructs. But my mind is a storm of questions crashing into each other. Did Kyle plan this? Did he know I'd see him there, watching? Is Adrian part of whatever this is? My body moves through the poses, but I'm barely present, my thoughts spiraling. Why am I not storming out of here, demanding answers? Why am I still standing under these lights, letting the camera capture every angle of me while my husband's eyes are on me from behind that glass? It's surreal, like I've stepped into someone else's life, someone bolder, someone who doesn't flinch under scrutiny. And yet, as I shift into the next pose, my hands resting lightly on my hips, I can't deny the strange thrill coursing through me. It's a mix of shame and exhilaration, a cocktail of emotions I don't know how to name, burning under my skin as the camera clicks again and again. I catch Adrian's gaze through the lens for a fleeting moment, and something unspoken passes between us, a flicker of intensity that makes my stomach tighten. It's not just about the shot anymore. There's a weight to his focus, a silent acknowledgement of the tension that's been building since the moment he brushed that strand of hair from my face. I don't know what it means, and I'm not sure I want to, but it's there, hanging in the air like static before a storm. My eyes dart back to the glass, to Kyle, whose expression hasn't changed. He looks proud, triumphant even. That smile of his, the one I've always loved for its warmth, now feels like a mask hiding something deeper, something I'm not sure I'm ready to face. What is he thinking? What does he see when he looks at me like this, framed by the lights, captured in poses I never thought I'd strike? My chest tightens with every stolen glance, the weight of his gaze heavier than the spotlight itself. The shoot pauses for a moment, and Adrian steps away from the camera, muttering something about adjusting the equipment. He moves to the side of the studio, fiddling with one of the light stands, leaving me alone under the harsh beam. I stand there, the silence pressing in, my bare shoulders prickling in the cool air. My eyes are drawn to the glass again, to Kyle, who hasn't moved an inch. I could confront him right now. I could walk over there, tap on the window, demand to know why he's watching like this, what he's playing at. My feet even take a tentative step forward, the concrete cold under my soles, But then I stop. A wave of fear grips me, sharp and sudden. What if I don't like what he has to say? What if the studio lights dim slightly and Adrian busies himself with the equipment? I feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me like a physical force. My legs are unsteady as I finally turn away from that observation window, away from Kyle's unreadable gaze, and make my way toward the small changing area. I don't look back, but I can still feel the imprint of his eyes on me, like a shadow that lingers even after the light is gone. My fingers fumble as I slip out of the backless black dress, the fabric sliding off my skin with a whisper, leaving me feeling more bare than ever. I pull on a robe hanging nearby, wrapping it tightly around myself as if it could shield me from the storm of thoughts swirling in my head. What just happened out there? What did I let happen? My heart is still racing, each beat a reminder of the intensity I felt under the camera, under their combined scrutiny. I step out of the changing area, my bare feet patting softly against the cold floor, and head toward a small waiting area just beyond the studio space. It's a cramped little nook with a couple of worn-out chairs and a low table cluttered with old magazines, the kind of place that feels forgotten compared to the stark drama of the studio. And there he is, Kyle, waiting for me. His camera bag is slung over one shoulder, no longer in his hands, as if he's put away that part of himself for now. He's leaning casually against the wall, but there's nothing casual about the way he looks at me. His smile is softer than it was behind the glass, but it still carries that unsettling edge, like he knows something I don't. I stop a few feet away, clutching the robe tighter around me, suddenly hyper-aware of how exposed I still feel, even covered up. The silence between us stretches out, heavy and thick, filled with all the words neither of us is saying. I want to scream, to demand answers, but my throat feels tight, like the questions are lodged there, refusing to come out. He breaks the quiet first, his voice low and gentle, but with a firmness that catches me off guard. I've never seen you more alive than you were in there, Meg. His words hit me like a punch, and I blink at him, my mind scrambling to process what he means. Alive? Is that what he saw when I was trembling under those lights, caught between fear and something I can't name? I open my mouth to protest, to tell him he's wrong, but nothing comes out. He steps closer, his eyes searching mine, and adds, I wanted to see you unleashed, to break out of that shell you've been hiding in for so long. And watching you with Adrian, that was part of my vision. My breath catches, shock rippling through me. His vision? What does that even mean? I feel the heat rising to my cheeks, a mix of anger and confusion boiling inside me. Did he orchestrate this? Did he want Adrian to push those boundaries, to make me feel so vulnerable, so seen? I force the words out, my voice shaky but sharp. Did you plan for him to cross that line, Kyle? Did you want him to get that close? I can't even say it. Can't put into words the way Adrian's breath on my neck made my skin crawl and tingle all at once. Kyle's expression doesn't change, but there's a flicker in his eyes, something evasive. He tilts his head slightly, his tone measured as he replies, I trusted Adrian to bring out your beauty in a way I couldn't. That's all. That's all? His answer feels like a dodge, a half-truth that leaves me grasping for more. I want to push him, to demand clarity, but I'm drowning in my own emotions. Betrayal stings like a fresh cut. Guilt weighs heavy for not walking away sooner, and yet, beneath it all, there's this dark, nagging fascination. I can't stop thinking about how it felt to be the center of their attention, to be captured in a way I've never been before. It's like a splinter under my skin, something I'm standing in our living room now, weeks after that day at Adrian's studio, and I can still feel the weight of everything that happened pressing against me like a heavy fog. The memory of those lights, the click of the camera, and Kyle's gaze through that glass. It's all still so vivid, like a film reel that plays on loop in the quiet moments. I've had time to sit with it, to try and make sense of the storm inside me, but if I'm honest, I'm not sure I've gotten any closer to understanding. What I do know is that something fundamental has shifted, not just in me, but between Kyle and me. Our marriage, our life together. It's not the same as it was before I stepped into that studio, and I'm not sure it ever will be. In the days that followed, we didn't talk much about what happened, not directly at least. There were no big confrontations, no late-night arguments where we laid everything bare. Instead, there's been this quiet, unspoken understanding growing between us, like a secret we both carry but don't name. We'd catch each other's eyes over breakfast, or while watching TV in the evening, and there'd be this flicker of something, acknowledgement maybe, or a shared memory of that intensity. I'd see it in the way Kyle's hand would linger on mine just a little longer than usual, or how he'd watch me with a new kind of focus, like he's still seeing me through a lens even when there's no camera in sight. It's not uncomfortable exactly, but it's heavy, charged with all the things we haven't said out loud. I think we're both afraid of what might happen if we dig too deep, if we pull at the threads of that day and unravel whatever fragile balance we've found. One of the biggest changes came a couple of weeks after the shoot, when Kyle suggested we turn the spare room upstairs into a mini studio. I remember standing in the doorway, watching him clear out old boxes and junk we'd accumulated over the years. His face lit up with that familiar excitement I've always loved. He talked about it like it was the most natural idea in the world. Setting up lights, hanging backdrops, even buying a camera of his own for what he called personal projects. I didn't argue, didn't question it, even though a part of me wondered what we were stepping into. Now, that room is transformed. It's not as sleek or professional as Adrian's place, but it's ours. There's a small tripod in the corner, a couple of softbox lights that cast a warm glow, and a simple gray backdrop taped to the wall. The camera sits on a shelf when it's not in use, its black lens staring out like a silent observer, always ready. I find myself in there more often than I expected, sometimes just sitting on the stool in the center of the room, staring at the setup and feeling this strange pull I can't quite explain. When Kyle's with me in that room, it's like we're recreating pieces of that day, but on our own terms. I'll pose for him, sometimes in casual clothes, sometimes in something bolder he's picked out, and he'll direct me with a quiet intensity that reminds me of Adrian's detached precision. Turn your head just a bit, Meg. Yeah, like that. Hold it. Perfect. His voice carries a weight now, a focus that wasn't there before, and I can feel his eyes on me, searching for something. I don't know if it's the same raw energy he saw in me during the shoot, or if it's something new he's trying to capture, but I let him look. I let him frame me in ways I never thought I'd be comfortable with, arching my back, tilting my chin, letting my gaze meet the lens with a boldness I didn't know I had. There are moments when it feels like he's not just photographing me, but peeling back layers, trying to uncover a part of me I've kept hidden even from myself. And I'm not sure if I'm scared of what he might find, or if I'm craving it. Adrian hasn't said a word, but his eyes tell me he's already seen more than I intended to reveal. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.